Hello boys and girls, so in this video we are going to be learning about the heroic cycle. So up to this point in our writing we've looked at kind of the different parts that we need to build a good paragraph, to build good stories, right? We need a topic, sentence, or a thesis to kind of tell us what the story or the paragraph is going to be about. We need those good rich supporting details, and we need that conclusion, which is so important. So now we can look at a little bit more of the meat of our story. And the heroic cycle is a great place to start. Now, if you think about your favorite, especially fantasy type stories, that's where the heroic cycle comes in. And basically what this is it's kind of almost a formula, if you think about it like science, like it's a formula or something you can follow as you're writing out your story to make sure you have all the pieces you need and it's a well-rounded and really good story. It's got a lot of excitement to it. So the heroic cycle kind of starts with someone that doesn't necessarily know some things about a different world, like a magical world, or they don't know some things about themselves. And then we kind of move with them as they learn about these things, and then they get to use a special power they have, or they get to travel to this enchanted world that they didn't know about and have an adventure. And then at the very end, they kind of come back to where they started, back to their home or their school or wherever they started, with this new knowledge, with these new powers or this new knowledge about themselves, and they can kind of live their life with that. They can help other people or teach them or something like that. So as I was thinking about the best way to teach you this, I started thinking about my own heroic cycle. So, for example, I was thinking I would probably just be on my couch in the living room in front of the fire reading a book, My daughter would be napping in her bedroom. My husband would be at school because he's at BYU right now. So I'd just be sitting there reading, and then all of a sudden there's this dust and this dirt that comes flying out of my fireplace, and then there's this troll standing there. And he says, "Mrs. Silcox, you are our long-lost princess. You were abandoned at birth and raised by these wonderful people you call your parents, but now we need you to come back home so you can save our kingdom." Well, of course I have to go with him, but first I wake up my daughter so she can be safe, and she comes with me. And we go on this marvelous adventure, and I didn't think I would have any magical powers, but turns out I'm really handy with a sword. I can sword fight really well. Who knew? So as I'm going on all these adventures and I'm fighting mountain giants, and I'm traveling through swamplands, and Devereaux gets sick and I have to find a healer. Anyways, I end up coming and I'm able to save my kingdom, and then the troll brings me back to my home just as my husband's arriving home from BYU, and I get to share this amazing adventure with him, and then we get to go and live in our magical kingdom in our palace. Wouldn't that be so fun? Isn't that kind of a fun little heroic cycle? So this week you can write a heroic cycle about yourself or someone you know, or you can make it up on your own. But think about that cycle that they go through. There are some examples on the website under the action items that you can kind of look at for a guide, and some different ways that you can think about this cycle. But go ahead and have fun this week making up your own heroic cycle.